Battered wife, battered life. Fried fish and her had two things in common. They were both battered and dead meat. Frankie Beverly hit the nail on the head when he said love can be bitter and love can be sweet. But when they said love hurts, that's not what she had in mind. See, you may not see the print that's fine when they say for better or for worse, because remember, love is blind. But speaking to you from the spirit world, she understood what till death do us part meant. In love and in bed with a murderer, this is how the latter part of her life was spent. Little did she know she was literally sleeping with the enemy when life was simple and they moved from their little one-bedroom apartment. Little signs and symptoms of emotional flare-ups and talking violently in his sleep. You may say it's nothing, but it was quite evident with road rage in his Jeep. The day they got married and she was carried across the threshold, once warm, intimate, and passionate caresses soon ran her flesh and soul cold. She lost her pride. Her friends said she lost her mind. She wasn't trying to lose her life, but she could never understand how a man could bring himself to beat his wife. How could her kids respect her when they had to protect her? As time progressed, there were certain things she began to fear, like him having a bad day at work, children crying, bills in the mail, or even a cold beer. It became a hard-knock life, but far worse than Jay-Z's reprise. Not quite certain how she managed to marry Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I mean, this was serious. She really lost the sanity of life and became partially delirious. This off-and-on love can drive you to a state of schizophrenia. Extra goose-down stuffed pillows became her psychiatrist and diary, as duck feathers listened to yelled yet muffled complaints of suicidal desires in she. First, it started with inner conversations that became more vocal in his absence. Then it was followed by nervous breakdowns and collapses. The first bout was the worst and the scariest because she never expected it. After the fifth one, her mind started subconsciously accepting it. She developed doubt in her faith because she couldn't see how God would lend this emotional and physical torture. Could he have gotten it from his father? No. It was a behavioral pattern, so it couldn't be genetic. But if he watched his father do it, then it could be inherently pathetic. If it is genetic, pray it's not something that your son has. Because as her son used to protect her, phone calls from school say he was acting disrespectfully and playing too rough with girls in his class. What type of example and message was she sending to her daughter? Did she okay it to be loyal, faithful, and passive until her naivety leads to her slaughter? She had anonymous church confessions, so the pastor wouldn't know to whom he was speaking. Because her husband and him got along well and he was also the church deacon, so the pastor would tell her, ask for forgiveness, repent, ask for mercy, and pray. She said, your advice is nice, but I do that twice to thrice a day. How ironic was it that her favorite R&B group's name was Escape, and her favorite song was Who Can I Run To? But how could she have escaped or ran when he made the money and was entitled to see his daughter and son too? She should have felt like she earned celebrity status because daily she had to wear concealing clothes and sunglasses. She had to dodge questions and from the paparazzi she had to abscond. She couldn't afford to be captured in pictures from someone's Kodak, Canon, or Nikon. Her view of him was panoramic, but everyone could only see one angle. She couldn't explain the situation to his mother because he was still his mother's angel. She felt her son could do no harm, so when around her, she applied Mary Kay makeup to disguise a bruised arm. Senior executives viewed him as a hard worker on his job. Women wished he was in their lives and considered him to be the perfect heartthrob. A faithful church deacon, high school basketball coach, paid an excellent salary. A suave dresser, nice car, nice physique because he watched his calories. How could she explain this to her friends, family, and the police? The day authorities discovered she wasn't lying, they found her lying deceased. She had frequent flyer miles between the house and the hospital. She was among many women with scars on her faces. The hospital staff and her were on a first-name basis. Her insurance premiums reached sky high, and due to increased hospital visits, her coverage they began to deny. The doctors knew what was going on, but they had no legal say in the matter. So every visit she made became their soap opera break room chatter. At first, she could explain the cut, sprains, broken limbs, and her bruise, but I mean, how many times can you accidentally fall down the stairs or trip over toys and shoes? What will you say when your body and feelings are hurt? What will you do when your heart and arms are broken? But she finally knows what it means to rest in peace. Hopefully, her story will give you the courage to take a stand or decide enough is enough and to pack up and leave. Battered wife, battered life.